Hi everybody, I am Cooch, and my channel is Cooch the Cream's Dollar Store Dreams. It's just a simple Dollar Tree channel, nothing fancy. Today I'm here to celebrate Black History Month, and I'm going to be talking about my all-time favorite fashion designer. His name is Patrick Kelly, and he made history. He was born in Vicksburg, Mississippi in 1954. He was raised primarily by his mother, Letha Mae Kelly, who was a home economics teacher and a cab driver. He also had two siblings, and after his father's death in the late 1960s, his grandmother, Ethel Rainey, who was a cook and a maid, helped to take care of him. Now, Ethel would bring home the loose buttons from the wealthy white families whose homes that she took care of, and she would use those to sew and replace the missing buttons on Patrick's shirts and his pants. So that was where his start for his love of buttons happened. In his early teens, he learned how to sew, and that's when he decided he wanted to be a fashion designer. He graduated from high school in 1972, and then he briefly attended Jackson State University in Mississippi. For a short time there, he studied art history and African American studies before leaving school and moving to Atlanta, Georgia. By 1974, he was designing window displays for Yves Saint Laurent for free, and then also working at the AMVETS shop to support himself. He had access to many vintage designs, along with designer dresses and coats that he would modify and make his own, and then he would sell them. He ended up opening his own store in the Buckhead area of Atlanta and worked with up-and-coming model Amon, and then established a modeling agency and a clothing line under the name Longboy. At that time, he also connected with the pioneering black supermodel Pat Cleveland, who encouraged him to move to New York City. After a not great year in New York City, where he also studied at Parsons Design School, Pat Cleveland encouraged him to move to Paris. She even anonymously bought his plane ticket, and everything changed. Once he arrived in Paris, things quickly changed. He found immediate success with his bold, bright colors, the slinky, tight, form-fitting dresses. He adorned them with buttons and bows as a nod to the sophisticated, cut-rate style of the women from his childhood in the South. In 1983, Kelly met Bjorn Amelon, who quickly became his boyfriend and manager. Kelly began to sell his designs at trend-setting boutiques in Paris. In an interview with one of the shop owners, they said, "Patrick landed like a bomb in my shop in 1985. He was so gay and so full of energy, and so were his clothes." Also in 1985, the French edition of Elle magazine covered Kelly with a 6-page spread in its February issue. During this period, he began to acquire celebrity couture clients such as Betty Davis, Paloma Picasso, Grace Jones, Madonna, Cicely Tyson, and Goldie Hawn. One of Kelly's most famous designs was a Josephine Baker-inspired ensemble with a banana skirt that is now hanging in a collection at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. And FYI, that collection is on tour currently in San Francisco until April of 2022, and after that, hopefully coming to a place near me. Anyway, in 1987, the Warnaco fashion conglomerate signed an agreement to manufacture Kelly's clothing. With Warnaco's backing, Kelly's designs were soon available in stores throughout the world. That year, his sales approached $7 million. That's in 1987, $7 million. With the support of designer Sonia Raquel, Kelly was admitted in 1988 to the prestigious Chambre syndicale du prêt-à-porter des couturiers et des créateurs de mode. Pardon my French. His young label thus became an official colleague of brands such as Yves Saint Laurent, Chanel, and Christian Dior. He was the first. Well, not only was he the first black man, but he was also the first American to join the organization, which is the trade association for the French ready-to-wear industry. Through this affiliation, Kelly was able to present runway shows at the Louvre In describing one such 1988 show, the Christian Science Monitor commented, "Styles ranged from the sublime, tailored suits and dresses with longer hemlines, mostly in somber gray flannel and flowy crepe pants, to the ridiculous motorcycle helmet hats, lopsided pockets, scooped necklines trimmed with huge gardenias, and of course an abundance of buttons." Kelly also was an avid collector of black memorabilia, with an affinity for items depicting racial stereotypes that many people find challenging, offensive, or demeaning. He deployed his material ironically in his designs, which feature cartoonish watermelon wedges, black baby dolls, bananas, and gollywogs, among other images. In 2004, one writer said in the Washington Post that an important aspect of Kelly's work as a designer was the way he foregrounded race and heritage in his designs, his choices of models, and in his public image. Any lasting contribution that Kelly made to fashion's vocabulary is dominated by the singular significance of his ethnicity. Kelly was African American, and that fact played prominently in his designs, in the way he presented them to the public, and in the way he engaged in his audience. No other well-known fashion designer has been so inextricably linked to both race and his culture, and no other designer was so purposeful in exploiting both. Kelly sought inclusiveness in the clothes he designed. He told People magazine in 1987, "I design for fat women, skinny women, all kinds of women. My message is you are beautiful just the way you are." At his March 1987 show, one of the models was even 8 months pregnant. In 1989, Kelly was at the height of his success. He was producing his line for Warnaco, in addition to his other contracts, including one for Benetton, also while developing plans for lingerie, perfume, and menswear lines. That August, Kelly became extremely ill and kept the nature of that a secret until after his death. Kelly sadly died on January 1st, 1990 from AIDS. He was survived by Amlon and his mother. At Kelly's memorial service, his friend and client, Gloria Steinem, concluded her remarks by saying, "Instead of dividing us with gold and jewels, he unified us with buttons and bows." Currently, he is buried in Paris at the Père Lachaise Cemetery.